We're on now. Okay, it is being recorded now. Hello, Santiago.
Hi, John. How are you?
Very good. Okay, Diego, you're the moderator. How do you want? What do you want to do?
Yep. Well, John, this is the first of hopefully many series of interviews that I would like to do in my class. We're right now in Santiago, Chile.
Okay.
Tech Ventures is a one semester course that we focus on entrepreneurship and innovation. And I'm here with we're a little less today. It's 17 in our class, but and the focus of this, John, is to get to know you, have you tell your story to my students in a live scenario, and have them shoot you with some questions and try to get the most out of this experience of having a video conference or a video chat in a live classroom scenario, but with you being right now in the US. So, John, my first question is, if you could introduce yourself, tell us what you do for a living, and how did you go about switching from being a doctor into an innovator?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure being here, and it's nice to meet you, Diego. Well, basically, what I was a practicing physician up till about 3 years ago, working in the emergency room. And actually, I went to the Bahamas and did some investing in real estate. I had some houses there. And if any of you guys know the travel business, it's pretty well based on internet now. And when you build a house, if you built a house in Chile, say, and you wanted to rent it, it would help if you had a good website to market the house. It's just like it's an excellent tool to market anything, but especially in the travel business. And so I had a website, still do, bahamasforyou.com, as well as a website for the island where I built my houses. It's eleuthera.com. So I saw basically how the internet could work as far as communication, marketing, and having a news group, a chat group, interaction on the internet. And then eventually I wanted to do the same for medicine. I wanted to get a website for medicine and get involved with my love, obviously, of medicine. So when I came back to Miami, and I started reading about what's going on in medicine now. I was really surprised because I'd been away from medicine really for a couple of years. But medicine, like anything in the world now, is being digitized, where there's a huge influence. It's called a digitalization of medicine in medical devices, medical apps, in the way that doctors communicate all over the world. So I read a book. It's called the Creative Destruction of Medicine by Eric Topol. Tremendous book. It really opened my eyes. So I looked around the internet for a good website to learn about what's going on in all different areas, and I couldn't find any one site. So I'm dumb enough to think, well, I'll make one myself. So I bought the name internetmedicine.com, which you guys probably know that, you're kids, and you know the importance of domain names. It has internet and medicine. So, and I began building it, and I built it for like a year. It was a labor of love, as you all probably know. When you have a passion for something, it's easy to work. And I found it very easy to explore all the areas of medicine in which the computer has impacted. And it changed. Then I came upon, I studied areas of social media, which you kids grew up with it, but I'm an old fart. So I didn't grow up with Twitter, Facebook, and Google Plus. I had to study it. And when I studied Google Plus, I saw they had the platform called Google Hangout. And once I discovered that, which is what we're using right now, once I discovered Google Hangout, I thought, wow, oh man, this is going to change everything. This will allow me to talk to people in all areas of medicine and healthcare. Look, just like I met Diego. And right now I'm in the process of using Google Hangouts to get into different areas of medicine, and working with people like Diego and interviewing people with new applications. I just got off a hangout with a Harvard business graduate. He's in Thailand, and I was talking to him about what I'm trying to do in China, Japan, India, and Australia with Hangouts. Because you can go anywhere with Hangouts, whether it be in Japan or next door, it's the same. You can have a conference just like we're having now. Doesn't matter. There's no geography. There's no borders, and there's no walls like secretaries to go through. You go directly to the person, and you communicate on a personal basis. So that's basically where I'm at.
Okay, nice. John, so far, what have been your biggest challenges?
The biggest challenge is getting people to open their eyes and use the technology of Hangout. You were open, Diego, but a lot of people, they're kind of like, well, I like Facebook, I like Twitter, I like emails. You know, I really don't want to. I'm not interested in Hangouts. So, but usually when you get persons to do one Hangout, they're kind of hooked because they can see the advantages of talking, you know, live. I mean, kids, this is the future of medical education right here. You're looking at it. I mean, would you rather, you know, someone, Medscape called me the other day, 2 days ago. They said, we want a quote from you. We're at a conference now with doctors that are treating asthma, and they're complaining they're not able to engage the kids in learning about their asthma and how to take care of themselves. What do you say about that? Do you have any video sites you recommend? I said, bullshit. Video is dead. Hangouts is the future. Interactive video. You got to get those asthmatic kids on the screen, just like you kids are there, able to ask questions, able to say, well, Dr. Bennett, I can't do this, and what about this, and what about that? That is the future of education. The future of education, no matter what you're talking about, is interactive and live. It's here now. The tools are here now, so we can use them, or you can be like people in the sand, put their head in the sand like the ostriches in Australia, and pretend it's not happening, but it's happening. Ole!
Anyone any questions?
Então, confirmation. None of us here really is medicine student, but was wondering, like, can you tell us more about like the evolution of the way you've been learning in medicine? As far as I know, you have to update. Medics have to update their knowledge pretty often. Sometimes, you know, and other careers do not need so much, are not much in need of new methodologies as much as yours. So can you tell us a little bit about the history of medical education to catch up with
Diego, I'm having a hard time hearing.
Yep. Well, he's a couple of meters away, so the microphone cannot pick up maybe the audio. But what Jorge Maisa is asking is, how do you see the evolution of medical education? And as we look back to it, which trends have been predominant, and how do you see that going forward? Because acknowledge something that is very true. I study business, and many of the students here are not from health. In fact, we have no health students. So the reality that you see in health education, which is the need to constantly be updating, we do not have it as much. So how do you see that, and what trends do you see currently, and how do you think this might pick up?
Yeah, that's a good question. Basically, digitalization has heavily impacted medical education, and not only people that are just looking for information, but in medical schools. There's a trend now to medical education to become what's called iPad-based. There's a school in California which is the leader of this trend. There's a doctor called Warren Weichman, and I'll be glad to send you kids the link to his program in University of California at Irvine. He basically convinced the medical faculty to change the curriculum to be iPad based, and it's essentially called flipping the classroom. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but in medicine it means that when a medical student comes the first day of medical school, they're given an iPad, not on a smartphone, but an iPad. I don't have an iPad, but they're given an iPad that's preloaded with all the lectures and all the information they're going to study. So the student essentially studies the lecture, say they're studying anatomy of the heart. The student will watch the lecture on their iPad at home. And then when they come to class, the professor will be amongst the students. Like, for example, Diego now would be amongst the students answering questions like some students will say, well, how does this valve work? Or where's this vein go? Diego would not give a lecture to you guys. He'd be circulating amongst you, answering individual questions during that hour. So that's called flipping the classroom. And that is the trend now in medical education in America. Does that answer the question, basically?
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Well, you're going to see more of that in lots of education. There's a gentleman named Salman Khan. He runs a school, online school. It's free. It's called the Khan Academy. He does that for all types of education, not just medicine, where the phenomenon's called flipping the classroom. It's putting the professor amongst the students to answer questions. The students study the material before class, and they're ready, and they have questions. And it kind of changes the role of the professor to be more of an integrator and to be more of a question answerer during that 1 hour. Okay?
Thank you very much. Actually, this rival business school from ours is trying to do the same thing with the iPad system.
Oh, okay. You do that now?
Yeah.
Some schools are trying to do it, yes.
Some schools are trying that here too.
Oh, okay. It's the same here.
Kids, anyone else want to ask something to John? Josefa?
I think we've all heard that this new way of learning, like all technology, is behind the traditional way of learning. What do you think about that criticism of this new technology?
Okay.
A very good question from Josefa. She's asking, there's a controversy. There's all these trends pushing technology into the classroom and changing how we teach and learn, but then there's other voices or people arguing that we're losing some of the things that were beneficial from the traditional methods of learning. Is that possible?
Well,
and she adds something there. She doesn't that it's now everything is on your phone. It's so easy, just download it and probably the fact that there's less of a challenge to achieve knowledge, or there's less of a challenge to get your hands on things, makes it kind of a little bit lazier, you think?
No, but you see that there's a criticism, and I want to know what you think about that.
Okay. What's your view on that, John?
well, there's the traditional way of teaching with the professor at the front of the class and the class listening probably will always be around. But it's been proven, Warren Weichman, the doctor that changed the curriculum at University of California at Irvine, I don't know how he did it, because the medical establishment is very traditional. It's just amazing to me that he was able to have them experiment. And it was an experiment 2 years ago, but they found that the students did 26% better on the national boards part 1. So basically, for doctors, they kind of want to learn the most effective way. If this flipped classroom did not work, in other words, on the standardized test, if those students that were in the experimental stage of this iPad based did not do better, they would have gone back to the uh, traditional teaching. However, it worked, and students were doing better. It's like anything in medicine. If they proved something is better, most doctors use it. And you'd have a hard time answering a patient if you treated them with a method that wasn't as effective. They'll say, wait a minute, it's been proven that you can treat me better by doing this surgery. Why'd you do the other surgery? As a physician, that would be tough to explain to the patient why you didn't use a more effective, proven method. Does that answer the question?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, John.
Okay.
From the back, Vicente? Any questions for, we have time for 2 more questions. Ian? Ian's not in the frame, but we'll, you know, a cameraman that can switch that.
Okay. Hello? In the corner?
So what's your final objective of what you're doing right now? What do you plan on achieving? What's on your mind? What do you want to, I don't know, what do you want to do with this whole Hangout and your website and stuff like that? What's your vision?
Okay. Can you repeat that, Diego?
Yeah, he says, basically, what's your final goal with all these things you're doing with internet medicine, with this Google Hangouts? What's your vision? Where do you see yourself, or where do you want this going? If you also envision this achieving something, what would that be?
Well, it's to improve healthcare, and I believe that's a tool to be able to connect all parts of the world. Can you see screen share there, Diego?
Yep, go for it.
Okay, let me go real quick to some screen share.
No, you're not sharing screens yet.
Okay, I'm gonna put it on right now. Oh,
Okay.
okay, hold on. Hold on. Oh, okay, can you see that, Diego?
Yep.
Okay, now with Google Hangouts, it allows us to easily communicate with all parts of the world. Now, what I hope to do with my website is essentially bring all parts of the world together through Hangouts to be able to communicate what's going on. For example, you're an orthopedist in Japan. I want to allow you the possibility to communicate with an American orthopedist and Chilean orthopedists what's going on in their particular part of the world, and to be able to share ideas on what's better, what doesn't work, what does not work, and that sort of thing. Just basically to improve communication amongst all the medical communities of the world. And Hangout gives me the option to be able to do that. Gives me the tool. As far as where I see it going, I see it generally improving healthcare and improving communication. I'm going to show you real quick a Hangout I had with. Can you see it?
We can see it, but there's no audio on the video.
Okay, that was a Chilean maxillofacial surgeon from Santiago that I had no idea I was going to meet Diego, but we had a hangout in July, and he was talking in Spanish about how he uses Google Glass in his operations in maxillofacial surgery in Santiago. So that kind of is an example of how other people of the world could benefit by his experience in maxillofacial surgery in Santiago. And I foresee it in a country like Chile being able to connect all parts of the country fairly easily and quickly. All of doctors kind of networking to communicate what's going on, and maybe eventually giving an option. Say you have a specialist like Antonio Marino is his name, and anybody that wants a link to see that hangout, I can give Diego. Suppose Antonio Marino, who's a specialist in Santiago, wants to communicate with far southern Chile, and they have a doctor that wants to learn about a procedure or whatever, and wants to be educated about something that he's doing. He'll be able to easily network with Antonio through this technology which we're using right now. So to basically broaden education and make it accessible. It doesn't matter if you're in a small town in Chile in the south. I want to make it so that you can benefit, but from what's going on in the best educational centers in the world, in Spain or Paris, wherever.
Anyone else?
Thanks, John, for that answer. Okay, this is it, John. Thank you so much for your time. Any final message you'd like to give?
Yeah, and you kids, if you want to learn how to use a Hangout, I'll be glad to show you how anytime. I really believe in it. I think it's better than penicillin, and I highly encourage you to learn how to use it. You can use it as a social thing to contact your family and include your friends. It doesn't have to be just education. It can be just communication. But I highly encourage you to study it and to learn it.
Okay. Well, that's it. Thank you, John. Talk to you later. And
thank you. Wow, I can't hear you. Louder. Okay, kids. Thank you.
Take care.
Okay. I'll see you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.